Alright, so the next one we're going to do is repetition, the second of the 4 different steps of how to make an effective presentation. So repetition is all about creating some sort of interlink between all of the different slides. And the best way I can explain repetition if I just go back to all of the do nows and objectives I've had over the course of the last part of the year. So if we take a look all the way back to the beginning of the course, you'll notice that if I were to go in between all of my slides, the blue at the top of the screen stays the same, the green on the left-hand side stays the same, and the purple on the right-hand side stays the same, so that every day when you guys walked in, there was repetition to show that you knew to look on the left for the objective, you knew to look on the right for the do now, and all of that was already built into your knowledge. We've also, for Unit 1, I changed the color scheme, so the top is green, the left is red, the right is blue, and this also links from lesson to lesson to lesson, so that you would know where to look for all of these different components. So I am using this PowerPoint using repetition to teach you that information so you know the link between it. So this idea behind repetition is something that you're able to do to link information together. And the best way to create repetition when creating a PowerPoint is to start on your first slide. In that case, that was our contrast slide. And what I like to do is I like to right click and click duplicate slide. And what that does is it copies the exact same spatial positioning of the word contrast, so you don't have to find exactly where it is, because what could happen is if you were trying to recreate this from scratch and like this wasn't exactly in the same place, you'll notice that like going back and forth between these slides, it's not in the same place, so it's losing that like aspect of repetition. We want it perfectly in the same spot, so the way that we can do that is if we duplicate it, we can then just go into the next slide, and what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and write the word repetition, and then we're going to take the words that were in the text box in this case, and we're going to get rid of them, and we're going to put in the new words that we need to put in, and those words would be something along the lines of contrast is what we notice. It can help you create a design in which one item is clearly dominant. So I want you guys to create your own slide on repetition using this idea behind duplicating a slide and going to recreate that same exact format, so that if you make like invisible lines everywhere, which is our next one about alignments, that everything is nicely repeated and explains back and forth the idea. And the last idea that I want to talk about for repetition is if, let's say, we had multiple different topics, let's say I had like 4 or 5 slides on contrast, not just one, maybe I would put like a C in the bottom right of the page so that you know by seeing the C that every single slide was talking about contrast, and then when I got onto the next one, such as repetition, you would have an R on the bottom right if there was multiple slides. So that's linking that knowledge together using repetition to tell you, hey, we're still talking about this idea. So that's about it. That's repetition, and next up is alignment.